Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn. I hope you're all doing so well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Go ahead and take a few deep breaths. I want to get right into the energies today. I was calling in Source Creator of all that is, Sophia. I called in today a few archangels, Michael, Metatron, Gabriel, and Raphael. And right before I started the video, my very special Mother Mary rock that you see lying down right here fell down for me to include her as well. Okay, this is a very special Mother Mary rock. You see, actually when I picked this up, somebody else wanted to pick it up as well because it looked very much like the shape of Mother Mary. This is the other side. Okay, so she's definitely coming in today with lots of mothering love. And such beautiful messages to share today. Of course, yesterday was the 777 portal, which I talked a lot about prior to yesterday. So there was a lot of Valentine's romantic energy associated with 777. And remember, romance is more than just what you think of commercial romance. It's just that energy of being loving to each other every day, kind and patient, present, well. So we are going to roll the die. And then we will pull a card from my fortunes deck, and then we'll get right into the two messages of the day I have, as well as the read on the table for the Twin Flame Collective. Today is the 9th of July, 2023. So today is the energies of, what is it today? Today is the King of Wands and the Hermit. So the 23 and the 9, because today is the 9th. And adds up to the 23. And of course, this is the year 23. So again, accentuating the King of Wands, learning how to master his passions, and then the Hermit going within. And that's very fiery energy along with Virgo energy. Let's see what the die have for you today. We have the number 12, which is also December. It's also the Hanging Man, which for me is Pisces and Capricorn energies. It's also the 1 and the 2 of the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. And again, that complete cycle of the number 12. We have Venus here as well. Okay, so Venus, Taurus, and Libra. And of course, that loving energy that I just brought up regarding Valentine's Day. And then Gemini, which is also the twin energy. Okay. So, and again, that's very much about communication and Mercury, and we had Virgo come up already. So Mercury is definitely making its presence along with Venus, which are next to each other in the sky. And then the 12 of the masculine and the feminine, and the Hanging Man, which is wisdom. And besides the 2 of the symbol of Gemini, the twins, it's also the Roman numeral 2, which brings up the High Priestess. And again, for me, that's Pisces and can be Virgo as well. So there's a lot of those same energies there. So, and Taurus and Libra are coming up for Venus as well. So we have cardinal and fixed energies there. Gemini is mutable, and so is Virgo and Pisces. Okay, and then Capricorn, which is also cardinal. So an interesting mix with Venus in the middle there. And I get the library too with this as well. So something about the library, which can bring up Akashic records. Let's pull a card from the Fortune Oracle deck. And so again, this is the Fortune Oracle deck. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that portal energy from the 7th, which wasn't yesterday, but the day before. And remember, it's that boomerang energy. The 3 sevens is the 3 keys, the 3 keys of alchemy. The 3 keys come up again today. Very specific information. There was a process that happened in my messages yesterday that was very cool and revealing. And a lot of what I do helps you to understand how to navigate your own messages by unraveling and just allowing the flow to happen. So let's see from the Fortune's Oracle deck. What do we have here? All right, we have the plane coming up first. There's that energy of taking off to higher dimensions. A journey is indicated, either physically, metaphorically. Your life will become more full, complete. You are whole and complete and balanced. The 26 of the Page of Wands, again, that inspiration, but also the year 26 could be coming up for you in some way, from 23 to 26. And again, we're taking off here, along with the fire energy here, which is the number 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. It's also, for me, the Libra energy and that high vibration, destiny. And here's that fire of transmutation, of letting go of emotional upheaval to embrace the renewal of the present moment. Okay? And that the plane of fire also could be coming up here. It's taking off, lighting that fire, you know, to get going, to move, to travel. And that doesn't have to be physical travel. And the owl wants to come out here too, which is that wisdom again that came up with the Hanging Man already. And the number 23 of the year and the King of Wands, and learning how to master passions with wisdom, and the owl. There are spiritual messages and great wisdom to be found during this period of transition. Okay? So this energy of the Page of Wands and the King of Wands, with destiny between them, right? The inspiration, the aspiration, and the owl of wisdom, right? Aspiring to wisdom. And being inspired to go through the fire to get there. The underlying energy here is the mountain, and my first notes from today, I don't know if it's today or the next day, yeah, the next day, have to do with Muhammad and the mountain coming up here. So the 22 of the Fool with an open heart, taking that leap of faith. And it does say here, know that you are protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. Be practical, right? You're not going to do something that's going to hurt you by jumping off of a mountain, obviously, as a human being, but also still maintaining your heart being wide open to love. And that energy of the this resonating energy, as opposed to the star, which disperses, it's resonating. It's more of the feminine energy, marinating. That's the word I wanted to find. So it's marinating as opposed to the star, you know, and that masculine energy of channeling direct rays out. This is this feminine energy of marinating. Oh, by the way, proposal and the two rings coming together is right underneath that. Oh, there's the star. This is the card I wanted to show you when I was just saying that. So underneath the mountain here in the underlying energy is that star, the masculine energy shooting out, and then the resonation of the feminine at the mountain here, and then the two rings linked here. It wasn't supposed to be reversed. I just picked it up the wrong way. A romantic or business opportunity is indicated here. And again, representing the masculine and the feminine, the 29 of the gift from the stars, again, referencing Elena Danan's book, but being present in the moment, to the star as we're aligning with Sirius. And I posted on Instagram this beautiful purple heart that was Sirius. It was straight above me that night on the 7th. And then the linking of the rings, which will also come up today. The 27 is the Ace of Wands, that new passion, but also for me it's the Q of the 2 and the 7 of the boomerang, the gamma ray, the Queen's Gambit. And then of course the 22 is the Fool. Right? Being present in the moment to that star and taking that leap of faith as the Fool with an open heart, but being wise. And here's the proposal of linking those two energies in the Queen's Gambit. And that's very interesting too, because the Queen of Pentacles came up. When you write Queen of Pentacles abbreviated, it's Q and P, which comes up as the Queen's Pawn, which is the Queen's Gambit. And the Queen of Pentacles is 66, which comes up for me as the Golden Gate, as well as the spiraling energy that comes together that actually makes that rose heart, which is why it's called the rose heart. Okay, so let's get right into this. The angel was right below those cards as well. So I just have to, you know, I love these cards. They just come on. Look at this. So we talked about, these are the cards all coming up to where we are today. I don't keep wanting to go back further. The sun is before this, and then the key of the 15, the shadow. The shadow is the key because you need to face the negative as well as the positive, in order to transmute the energies to the middle, to take responsibility for both ends, that you create everything in your world. And then the Lion's Gate here opens up with a mighty roar, and that tower moment here with the fireworks, and the 777 portal of romance to the moon, which then sits here. And that was at the full moon going into the new moon on the 17th with the changing of the guards and the nodes. And then here's that energy of the nodes, but also 2 stars around the moon. And again, like the gate holders around the earth. Because this isn't just the moon, it's 21 is the world. That's the planet. And what's around the planet, you know, Earth is Venus and Mars as well. So there's a lot of different references here with the moon card here. And then we get to the Phoenix of blasting off through the chakras after coming down from the root back up to the crown to blast off any extraneous energies that are no longer needed. The 25 of the Knight of Wands, again, lighting that fire under your butt. And then here you see the wings transmuting from this to this of the angel, and the 2 of the High Priestess, which also came up here. So beautiful energies there. I love that deck. Okay, so this first message of the day, for those of you not familiar, sorry about any dust on my phone here, or smudges. That first deck is that same deck, Fortune's Oracle, and then we have the tea leaves. We have the Wild Unknown Guidebook, and then the Rider-Waite at the bottom, the full deck. I'll bring it up a little closer so you can see here. Okay, you see some of those same cards came up in this read as well. And there's just a thunder roll outside, so I guess they want me to bring that up too. So the thunder roll, which I have mentioned this before on my video, it's 10:29 on the clock, by the way, which is Justice and the 3 of Wands, that gift of the present moment. And there was a thunder roll outside from 11:28 to 29. And I just told you about my Mother Mary stone. And when I was in the south of France, with the retreat with Mercedes Kirkle, she does a Mary Magdalene baptism at the end of the week, where the salt and the fresh springs meet, the fresh waters meet. And when after she does her little ceremony, she then baptizes you. And at the moment she did that for me, there was one thunder roll, and there was a group of us, but it was the only thunder roll the whole time, and we both kind of looked at each other. It was really cool. But here's that thunder roll again, coming back around. So very cool energy. That was a really nice gift, actually. Okay, so with that first deck, for those of you not familiar, the left cards are the underlying energies, the bottom of the pile, and then I usually pull 3 cards, and any other cards that come out organically I use for numerology, as well as to finish off the storyline for the other cards. So in these set of cards, the cards at the end came out to 20221 and 581014, and it's starting to storm now. So the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine with the Fool between, the Hierophant and the Emperor ending karma between, 202 and 215 dance, which was interesting that these 2 numbers were coming up in the numbers, because 202 is a highway near me, or a major roadway anyway, and then 215 is a Philadelphia area code. So the 202 and the 215 dance with 101 in the lambda leap. And so the 101 always comes up to me, like I just showed you the moon and the 2 stars around it, right? The pillars around the center, the source energy, the human, and the Divine Feminine gatekeepers as the 202 with the source energy in the middle. In the Philadelphia area dance. No. Teddy. Honey, you can't stay here. I'm trying to do my video. He's afraid of the thunder. You can't get up here. There's no room, honey. There's no room, honey. I'm trying to do my video. Hey, Jen, can you help me, please? Mama wants you. Go on. Go to Mama. Go on. Go see Mama. Go on. Can you whistle again? Go to Mama. Yes, good boy. Oh, he's been a bit clingy because there's been a lot of storming There's been a lot of storming going on, so hopefully that won't stay up because he might end up coming in here again. He thinks this is the safe place right here. So, okay. So there's this energy of the 202 being the two divine feminine gate holders with the source energy between. In the 215 dance with the 101, which is the divine masculine as gate holders with source energy in between. He's back here again, honey, please. You're going to have to sit there and behave, okay? In the lambda leap, you can't come up, honey. No. Honey, I really need your help. He's going to like sit on all of my piles here. Teddy, go on with Mama, okay? Go on. Come on, honey. Come on. Go on. Go to Mama. Mama needs you. Go on. He's on my phone and my cards and everything, Jen. Okay, give me just 1 second because I want to put something in front of the stool just so it doesn't keep coming in here, okay? So hold on for just 1 moment. Sorry about that. All right, let's see what I have here. All right, I think that should work. Okay. Okay, hopefully that works. Sorry about my butt. He was literally climbing. He's a big guy, and he was climbing up here. Just give me 1 second. Okay. All right, so this energy of each, the masculine and feminine, having their own set of pillars here with the source energy between, in that lambda leap, which is the lamb to father leap, the divine feminine gatekeepers in the Philadelphia area dance, and again that energy, because Philadelphia came up recently, the city of sibling love, but also dolphin love, referencing Lemuria, with the divine masculine gatekeepers in the lambda leap. The underlying energy here of to beware with the 3, of the dog close up, that's funny as Teddy was just here, the energy of the cosmic egg, the Ace of Swords, and be careful who you trust, with a friend on vacation, the cosmic egg and the crown chakra, the collective awakening on the ground with the truth out, and the underlying energy of the 2 of the angel and unity of the 34, celebration 5, and again beware, the number 3. The angel reaches out with a gift, the high priestess and energetic exchange with the Hierophant and the Empress, and again there was this energy of shapeshifters there, with 36 the world, 29 the star, and 7 the cracker, the map of the world. And I was just looking at an interactive planet map right there, and the gift from the stars, and that energy of the purple heart that I got from Sirius in my Instagram pics, and the 7 of the cracker. And again, we just finished with all the fireworks, but they're still going on, and so Teddy keeps being scared because of all these loud noises outside every day. So I did open Elena's book, A Gift from the Stars. Okay, and I've been being referred to it by my guides recently a lot. So I opened up to page 248, which was the Pleiades. And I was asking about that purple heart. And it was coming up as the Pleiades. And I forget, I don't know if we used to be aligned with Pleiades, and now because of the Earth's tilt, we're now aligned with Sirius, or if it was the other way around. But I was asking about that energy, and the Pleiades came in. So that was about that purple heart and the star that I took a picture of. And then the doe, D-O, comes up in Elena's book in Pleiadian as meaning guardian. So again, they're there taking care of us. Anything that interferes with outside of the planet, they have the right to intervene on. So I looked up again, page 116 came up, which was Cassiopeia and the Dorsay, Dorsay. And there was a reference in there about the Tunguska explosion in 1908, so you can look that up if you want more information about that. I was kind of confused about what she said about the Dorsays, because it says they're part of the GFW, the Federation, the Galactic Federation of Worlds, but also they eat humans. So obviously it's not something positive for us. And apparently they were having some difficulty within the Federation and their partnership with them. But again, look up the Tunguska, TUN, I think it's SUS, KA explosion from 1908. And this energy of opening the door also is coming up. Some other roadways were coming up, like I-81, and 81 is the energy from my numerology book, The Divine Triangle of Completion, coming full circle to age 81. It's also the end of karma around the world for me, as it's been coming through since I started channeling for you guys. But the energy of I-81 was coming up as a border near Greencastle, Maryland, that goes through to the border near Halstead, New York. And it's also considered the American Legion Memorial Highway in Pennsylvania. So 101 is also a roadway, but it's now PA 150, and it was only 5 miles long. It is now US 13 in Bristol and US 1 in Langhorne, which I'm very familiar with. And again, was also replaced by 413 in Bucks County, and we just passed the Buck full moon. So 202, I looked up, which is another roadway in the Philadelphia area. It's from Delaware Business US 322 Westchester through Swedesford, King of Prussia, and Montgomeryville, Doylestown area. And then New Hope, ultimately, and I brought that up before. And again, the 215 area. And then 2022 is coming up as well from the numbers and the devil energy, the shadow, as well as the 810, which is Michigan's area code. I don't know if there's been any news about Michigan recently, but that's coming up with that 81 energy of ending karma around the world in 2022. But then 2022 is coming up as the point where we ended that karmic energy, the end of karmic cycle between the angel and the devil. Okay, so this is going to unravel a little bit. So Friday was the 7th, and I was getting the energy of the 777 as soon as I woke up. I woke up at 7:02 that morning, and I was very sleepy, so I slept for a little longer. And I was getting the energy of the 777, which I always talk to you about being the 3 keys of alchemy, but it's also coming up as the 21, because 777 equals 21, of the 2 and the 1, of the feminine and the masculine, and the free birds. And free birds been coming up a lot this week. And taking that risk to be free. The 777 of those 3 keys of alchemy, the gamma rays, the boomerang, it comes up as the directional force for the toroidal field as well, through to the 888, which I've talked about already, this 11-month period of 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, 1 hour, from 777 to 888. And remember, 7 is the silence before the storm. And we'll go into 7 a little bit more in my next message here as well. But then going to the 888, which represents the twin flame union, the 2 8s dancing side by side, already having integrated their own masculine and feminine within, and then coming in and getting knocked over by that 3rd 8 into the horizontal position, which is infinity. So is this energy of, so next year is 2024 with the Olympics, which ends up just after 888. I think the closing ceremonies are the 11th, but I'm not positive. I'm trying to recall that. And then we get into the next year, 25, which is then 999 portal, which is letting go. 9 is all about endings and not going forward until you release all the things that no longer serve you, to clear your plate to start on the new cycle, which then goes on to 10, 10, 10 in 26 and so on, 11, 11, 11 in 27, and then 12, 12, 12, the finality of the cycle in 28, which is the twin flame energy. So also the 27-year cycle came up in numerology. So when you turn 27, you receive a new number, and then 54, and then 81. And then there's 9-year cycles as well in the divine triangle of numerology of your life. So 63 was also coming up here. And again, letting go. 63 is that 9 of swords, which is also comes up in my numerology deck as children. So, you know, the suffering and silence we do for our children. And it brought up the rolling stone here when I went to do the sequence of years there with the 77888 through 121212, because it came up as the I used my birthday each year as a reference for the timing of things. And so it was coming up as, I'm in a 33 year right now, which my birthday is September 18th, so it'll end then, and then I'll be in a 34 year. So 23 to 24, I will be in a 34 year, which is a 7, which is also the 34, the 8 of Wands, which is the energetic exchange, the EE. So it brought up the rolling stone because the 34 is the EE of the energetic exchange, and the 35 is the wounded warrior, which is the WW. The rolling stone is the E3WM. And then the 3-3, of course, is that Christ vibration from 22 to 23. And then in 36, the year after that, which is 25 to 26, is the MM of the mountain. And again, the energy of Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, all comes up with that. And then the following year, which is that 26 to 27, is the 37, which is the 3 keys, the 3 sevens, the unconditional love. So it's very interesting the way it all came together with the rolling stones. And then at the end, the 37, and ending 27 to 28 in that 12, 12, 12. So December 12th, 28. Excuse me. Let's see. Well, we'll go into that more on another day. But anyway, so the underlying energy here was coming up with, again, I spoke about shapeshifters and be careful who you can trust. As the energy of the world came up with 36, and the star was Sirius. So the world was coming up as in the today energy of the world, which is 21, and it's 21/3, the feminine and the masculine together equals 3, not 2. And the star Sirius of 29, which is being present in the moment to your gifts again, the gift from the stars, the blue earth, which is also AERTH, and the blue star. Atlas, a gift to navigate the stars, the map of intent. As 72 is coming up there with the 65 King of Pentacles and the 7 of the Chariot. And then the 7, which is the cracker card here, and the urgent crack, like that roller coaster. And the key, and again, the cracker obviously represents fireworks. The key, the gamma ray, the boomerang, and the fireworks. 2022 and the end of karma, the angel and the devil. Again, transmuting them to the middle. So the rolling stone and the path of one at 1044, which is the wheel of fortune, and the 44, which is that 4 of cups, which is typically called boredom or apathy, but it's really time to be still and ground, integrate, and master how to receive love. The Rolling Stone, The Path of One, 2022 to 2026, and then the 3 keys of alchemy of 26, 27, and 28, which then goes to 29 in that 12-12 energy of 12, 21, 12 as well in 2028. And again, repeating the cycles I just spoke of. As 202, 215, 8, 101, and 4 came up in the cards, the Divine Feminine gate holders, and again Philadelphia coming up, because remember the Philos energy is I love, and then the Adelphia is the sibling energy, but the Delphon energy is the dolphin energy. So there's both the love of siblings, but also the love of dolphins, and referencing Mu, which is Lemuria. The dear ones, the Doe Elven. So elves have also been coming up a lot here, and referencing elves or elves to the elephant energy as well, and the Elohim. The dancing with the divine masculine gate holders in the lambda or lamb to father leap. And the ant came up there with the elf and the elephant as well. The ELE, which means firewood, you, but also the letter L, which, as I always talk about, is the left energy, but at a right angle. Big gesture, sign, gift, to lay down and sleep. Rain, oil, and the portal. You know, the rain and oil is like a stargate. To sift, and also refers to them and they as feminine groups. Cardamom seeds, or cardamom, maybe there's some moms who are looking really young here. He, she, it, and wing, the breath of the Elohim and the seraphim, where sarap means to absorb, or the mirage of the water, which I just talked about regarding the stargates, what they look like, that oily, watery look. And also the definitions for sarap were coming up only from Indonesia, Turkey, and Malay. The energy of the E and the S with the Elohim and the Seraphim came up, but it's also the L and the C, because Elohim starts with EL, but sounds like L, and Seraphim starts with SE, which is also C. So it's E and S, which is the S with the one C flipped back becomes the E. So there's just these subtle shifts to change from one to the other. And then the L and the C coming up as, again, that left at the right angle. So there's that energy of transmuting the polarities to the middle. And the whispering bench, which is the C. And that brought up Ben, because Ben Franklin sits on the bench in Philadelphia. The ELO is the life crop large herd of reindeer. Again, the 1,000 herd of reindeer, which are the dear ones. And again, that 1,000 sons of illumination is a reference there. ELOKUU is also August, and August keeps coming up. The chain link, you and yours, to live life now, right here and there, and we're still on the word ELO. The trunk of the elephant, the locust bean fruit, both debit and credit, the state and the tablet, the triangular piece of fabric or piece of land where the roads meet, the projecting point, where the charge, the neutral area, which they define as US, and the ghost island of UK, the energy of charge by 2 inwardly curved lines. So when you do the 2 C's back to back, it becomes the toroidal field, meeting at the fess point, which is an abatement or a place of reduction or moderation. So again, talking about the hourglass, the torus. So then the cloud came up, the year above, and again the word MYND, which has come up in lots of different definitions, but it comes up as what goes around and what comes around. So again, it comes up as that expression, literally. Life, link, and high. And then, because Philadelphia came up, the Philadelphia airport came up, and Philadelphia experiment came up right there. And I didn't know why, which wasn't unraveled until the next message. So the Philadelphia airport came up regarding the Philadelphia experiment and things around Philadelphia and Ben Franklin and Betsy Ross. So of course, you know, Betsy Ross was the seamstress, right, who sews the flags. And the B&B was coming up as the bed and breakfast. And Ben and Betsy were coming up. So I looked up Ben and Betsy to see if there was any relation to them, to see if they actually knew each other. But when I looked up Ben, B-E-N, it means lightning rod and bifocals. Oh, excuse me, this is about Ben Franklin. So the things referencing Ben Franklin were bifocals, the lightning rod, the first fire department, the first library company, the first school, the University of Pennsylvania, which became that. He also charted the Gulf Stream current, and of course is one of our forefathers. Again, the lightning rod comes up with his study of physics and electricity. He wrote under Richard Saunders as another name for himself in a paper known for criticizing the Crown and the British Parliament and the controls to the his contribution to the French relations, so positive French relationships. He was also the Philadelphia postmaster, deputy postmaster general as well for the British colonies at the time, remember. August 10th, August 10th, which is there, that energy of Chi energy, of the 8 and the 10, 1753, and the first national communication network. So again, phones, and that came up in 33 Thomas building, I think it was, in New York, that just came up regarding the secret building with no windows. He dealt with slaves initially, but by 1750 he was definitely an abolitionist and promoted integration. So Ben often visited Bethlehem in Pennsylvania at the Moravian Sun Inn. He was a local Grand Master Mason, 1734, and republished the constitutions of the Freemasons as well. July 3rd, 2008, Independence Hall. So what else came up with Ben and Betsy was the wedding of Ralph Archibald and Linda Wilde, because they were enactors of Ben and Betsy in Philadelphia getting married. They both did this. They both portrayed the two of them, and they were getting married, so they had this big wedding in 2008 with Michael Nutter officiating the wedding. And they exchanged rings that were engraved with the kite and the key on them, the stars and the stripes. So in regards to Betsy Ross's relationship with Ben, I didn't find anything really specific, but she definitely dealt with George Washington regarding the first flag and why the stars should be 5 points as opposed to 6 because of production reasons. And in July 1775, President of Safety was Ben Franklin ordering gunboats that would need more flags. So this was a relationship to him because she was the one hired under that, but I don't know if he did that directly with her. May 29, 1777, William Webb to Elizabeth Ross for 14 pounds and 12 shillings and 2 pence for making the ship's colors put into William Richard's store. And this was for the flags for these ships. And that was at 1136, which is justice, alignment, and again, Atlas energy of the weight of the world. And certainly that is a high order, right? When you're expected to do a lot of production. So then again, the toroidal field, because the two C's back to back were coming up in the definition of ELO, which also, ELO for me is always the Electric Light Orchestra. And again, the chain link. Remember how, most links are like O-rings, but they could be C-rings as well. There could be soldering at both sides of the ring. And so again, this energy of the toroidal field comes up because we were getting this definition of the triangle where the two roads meet. And again, this is referencing this toroidal field energy of the light going straight through. And here's the two C's back to back that create that hourglass of the toroidal field. So the ELO being that 1,000 reindeer energy of moderation and August and the elephant's trunk. what goes around comes around. The energy of Mercury and Quicksilver also came up here, which is also referencing a lively person or childlike thing. The energy of the tick in your body, the spontaneous quivering part of a muscle that's insufficient to move a joint. The Elohim in Hebrew means God's heavenly power, the El meaning God, or Et, creators of humans and Raelian gods. And again, A-L-L-A-H also equates to E-L-O-H, which equals God. Okay, so then the human heartbeat comes up again, and the evening out, right? So the diastolic pressure being the even underlying blood pressure before the spike, which is then the systolic energy. The seraph is the evening, the Sarah, the evening. And then Raphael was coming up regarding the heart, the evening out of the heart. The seraphim, the reflection I am in the evening. And then the heartbeat, as I referenced before, is the Lyn. L-Y-N means lightening up, and also the waterfall, so the energy of the heartbeat. And E-L-O-H is L-O. Oh. And Elohim is O, is L-O, I am, like I am Elohim. This energy of the electric like orchestra I am, and O God of E-L-O-H. The elephant's trunk also references the penis here in the trumpeting of its glory and God's breath, and again referencing the orgasm. The key to the chariot, and again taking us back to the K and the C. When we put the K and the C together here, we come back to the toroidal field again, as we were up here. And there's that heartbeat reference. And then we have the two C's with the K's back to back in the middle, exactly represents that star and the hourglass again. You see how it always comes together. So they had me bring the K and C's together and reflect them. So the energy, when there's movement, so here's that K and the C separate from each other. And then here's the two C's back to back with movement, creating the 7 or the gamma. It used to be written backwards as opposed to forward. And then the energy of the L over here. And then the two energies that become Pisces symbol is the two C's back to back with that connection interdimensionally. And then becomes the X also. So we have the energy of the movement now of the toroidal field with the letter H, which is that Pisces symbol, H, it's just curved, and the X with Pisces energy there, and then the unknown, which is the X, right, the X factor. The 11 of flowers, the 21 of the moon, coming out together here, along with 19 of luck, 23 of the owl, and 12 of the fool. Aligning flowers or flowers, those who flow, as the moon's gatekeepers, the sun being lucky with the king of wands, the wise owl, the two humans, right, the O-W-L, the two U's that are human, Elohim, hanging out, the hanging man and the fool, 2 and 1, a man and his dog or loyal friend. Remember, dog backwards is God. The collective aligning with daughter and son, the moon and the sun, the 2023 year, or of the owl, the wise one, the hanging man and the fool, both tend to hang around at 12:01. So at 12:01, the underlying energy of the wind chimes, the bridge, the scissors, the grapes, the box, the dog, and close up, breaking up the energy with sound, bells, and a bridge of peace, connecting with Jacob's ladder, and then letting out or cutting out was no longer for our highest good to go out and have some fun. Receiving a gift, a treasure, or pleasure with a close friend. And then the funnel, the arrow, the younger man, the period of frustration and lessons to be learned, that you are on the right path to the younger man, perhaps wise beyond their years and loves dogs. So the underlying energy next was the bird flying with news to the past, the hat, the wheel, the teardrops, the ant, and the kite, topping the cake, playing a new role as the rolling stone with great personal sorrow, and like the ants marching 2 by 2 down to the ground to get out of the rain, and with Ben flying kites on vacation, lightening and lightening up, of fish or trout, again Pisces or the elephant's trunk open at the end. The fish out of water gasps for breath, and the elephant's trunk is open for business as the trash truck went by. At 12:12, or the two hanging out, the two wise ones, to the 13 of the transition period. The firecracker and the funnel exploding around the world. What goes around the world comes around the world, which is the key to the arrow, the excitement that propels you onward. The key is the bird perched, the arrow, and the young man. The key is successful outcome with direction, as the dog takes a good hard look in the mirror to become a real man, as she is the kite and key that together spark and attract the lightning, the firecracker, and she's been perched there waiting all along, like Dorothy's red slippers, 3 times. There's no place like home. The key to waiting it out, for Pinocchio to become a real live boy or buoy, to stop branching out so much. As she deals with a dark man, beware of greed or pig, or the piggies that went to market versus home, and roast beef versus none. The July vulture and the fan, the hot humid July, where the vulture may be depressed or anxious that someone is against you or working against you, where vulture is the VU of VU, you, and the LT of the light that you regarding your thoughts, the fan of romance, celebration, and partying, staying cool here at 12:25, the hanging man and the Knight of Wands. So the dolphin comes up with the hand and the horseshoe, and I drew this little picture of the dolphin here, okay, the way it was coming up to me, and it looks like a branch, you see, like a leaf. Above the clouds, with blessings, financial gain coming from something that you did in the past, in a raising of a hand. And I was just getting the raising, like the Amish raise a house. I was getting that energy just then. In raising of a hand and requested help, the dolphins save humans when they're drowning and bring good luck. With the horseshoes, again, Messier 83, which is that galaxy of the 2 horseshoes linked like the rings. The galaxy, or helping to put your shoes on. And there's that reference to Cinderella's slipper. So the elven dear ones throw a ringer with fan present or someone watching. The camouflaged dog close up, a fish that can fly, and cleaning the air all at once. From the lizard to the dog to the fish to the hawk, man does not live on bread alone. The bears hiding their colors, thinking they were being loyal, but the dog is a fish out of water, taking a good look in the mirror, and seeing a hawk flying, soaring with such power in their wings, clearing the way for the moth to the flame, or no hawk is the mohawk, bringing the crocodile sniffing around. So clearing the way for the moth to the flame, or mohawk, bringing the crocodile sniffing around. So some kind of energy that brings something dark in, right? So that can reference a person or a thing that visits you that's not usually in your energy and then pulls in some more negative energy or lower vibration energy. Or the hawk mother is changing the way to get to their nest, or clearing the way to get to their nest before the crocodile does, who's laying in wait. Ha! MC, osmic egg. So it's coming up as the MC of the osmic egg, as the collective now has their back on the ground running. And again, it's like that drop and then run of the crocs all cleared, as the collective is sealed from root to tip on the whispering bench with Ben and the hummingbird whispering in their ear, clearing the air as Bunny is scared. That's Teddy. Hiding in the moon. You have to forgive me in dealing with them. I've been dealing with it all all week because there's been so many thunderstorms, and he keeps running here where I keep my cards every time. So, and we don't close him into any rooms or anything like that. He pretty much has free reign of most of the house, so I don't like to do that to him. But it's difficult. He knows to keep out of this area normally. That's the only time he'll barge right through and come in. And I just have a stool there, and he crawls through the stool, through the stool to get back here. So he's the one who's scared here, the little bunny. So who is that in your life? Hiding in the moon, Saturday night, with high vibrations, a hummer or humdinger, as the rabbit, which is R-A, B-B, and I-T. And then Ray Babbitt was coming up, which is Rain Man, of course, and the autistic genius. Ray of Ben and Betsy and Bed and Breakfast, it or IT, where R, rocket, transitions times 2, B13, which is transition, to IMT, which is the top dog after all. The butterfly becomes the proud elk who watches them grow. As the elk looks at themself, which has elf in it, them's elf, closely in the mirror to see their dragon self and their lion self, what they've been lying to themselves about. Where then comes up Lynn again, because Lynn references lion. Covering up under the mane, the hair, the leader of the pack, the king of the jungle, and how they mask their inner dragons. B-U-L. So the word B and U, and then the L. The butterfly coming up as the BU Twin Towers, and urgently fly. L. Dr. Lion, as Mr. Ed was already taken. So they take the name of L. Dr. Lion because Dr. Ed wasn't available anymore. So the unicorn is at the gate. The hummingbird that was reminding you, you're late for a very important date. The frog in the rain, man, as Babbitt, instead of Ribbit was coming up, Babbitt. The fox comes out of the den to see B, and Buffalo, becoming the tiger, on the prowl, eyeing that fox. The dragon Sirius, Lyran, unicorn, amphibian, which was very important, right? Because the difference between the amphibian and the lizard, or the reptile, is that the amphibian's eggs are not protected. They don't have the womb shield that lizards do, like humans do, where they can really live in any environment. The amphibian can't, because they metamorphosize into something else, which is now what the humans are becoming. So you're going from being that in the being that can live as they are in any environment, to one who is now going to transcend that environment as the amphibian, right, into another realm. The I am presence reflecting the two and the one, as the bee hives and the buffalo roam, the tiger stalks. They just can't help themselves. So at 12:58, the Hanging Man and the Four of Swords, which for me is that 5D connection, and the underlying energy of the King of Wands reversed, with an opportunity this year to look closely at the gold coin, the twin flames, and assess their choices. In need of peace with the Queen of Wands reversed, the Page of Swords upright is stepping up to the plate as the Page of Pentacles pitches that ball. Deciding to play ball and stay clear for peace of mind, to share and be charitable. Perhaps the Queen of Wands reversed and the Page of Swords upright is unaware that the King of Wands reversed is settling out with the Queen of Pentacles upright, who's insecure without tools and expecting the Knight of Wands to run to their rescue at their Queen of Swords reverse beck and call. Or the Queen of Swords reverse Hierophant may be pissed off as the Hermit sheds light on all this, or marital counseling for the Knight of Wands, the Page of Wands reversed kids. So the Page of Wands reversed is perhaps a frustrated sister, or High Priestess, Pisces or Virgo, patient angel with the King of Pentacles upright, or Pisces and Sagittarius with the King of Pentacles. The wounded warriors guarded to the King of Pentacles, as the King of Pentacles is having to confront their worst fears of back and forth with no sleep, and the Knight of Swords charging in and waking them up just because they want to, or facing the arrows of love in awakening to the Knight of Swords, messenger of truth, in a losing battle with injustice and laying all their cards down, or every last dime, as the prisoner of their dreams, or of the Queen of Cups and their dreams, breaking patterns to be happy with themselves, detoxing and breaking the chains of guilting another perhaps, and then causing them to need to defend themselves, or the Queen of Cups upright standing up to the King of Cups reversed, withholding and howling at night, or playing ball nights when triggered or overwhelmed, or pushed to the limit by the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community dysfunction, and reducing annual raises or budget cuts here due to instability of the house, taking the risk to take away from the King of Swords reversed at 111, being the Magician and the alignment or justice, with lack of growth with the Ten of Cups reversed, or very angry family or frustrated with them, or abusive, or the King of Swords reversed had their house taken away from them in a painful ending with the Page of Cups upright. And again, there's that energy of being left for dead with only Bambi present to rescue them. Expected Six of Wands to bring the good news in and be victorious at all times when the world is upside down. But the Emperor's reversed, or bringing news of the end of the war of the worlds and near the closure of the cycle. As Pisces reversed and Aries reversed, or good news in 5D world, as the Emperor reversed steps down from power or from control to end the suffering and silence, the stress, or the sister, or a lack of sleep and the nightmare. The stress to heal, forgive, and apologize for not speaking up, as the Knight of Cups offers love in the aftermath mess, cleanup, or dramatic X, with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, refusing to move or work and unable to function or disabled at 119, the Magician and the Sun. With issues with coming to work or school or any place of co-creation really, perhaps injured, ill, or in exile, out of the cold, or out in the cold, or in the heat, unable to create but able to present the truth, or make a comeback and be victorious. With the Sun upright here and the Six of Cups upright with the Wheel of Fortune, really benevolent, like major positive energy right there, presenting the crown to the Sun, the kids, the pets, the Leo soulmates, the siblings or twin, destined to school the golden goose, with Leo and Libra, or sunshine and destiny's child, dumping multiple loads and emotional attachments, or EAs, all but the one. Being strong, taming the beast, and walking into that good night. With the Chariot, the Dark Knight, and the Fool, Leo goes within, as Cancer, Scorpio, and Aries are all upright, introducing themselves, or taking a walk with a pet, or Leo, or Cancer, or Scorpio, or they run into them. Watch out for cars and pets, as Aries takes no prisoners. With Leo kids and Libra, or Leo pets and Cancer, and Scorpio running into Aries or Fool, who's free and out with their dog or loyal friend, with the Sun at their back. Or triple fire threat, with Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo here. The North Node goes into Aries 717 and moves into Leo after that to hang out with the dog star for a while, and we all know about Sagittarius and dogs. The crowning truth of the Empress reversed, the lover of dogs and flags, and Ben tops the cake, with Kite and Key on the ground running to the crown to win the top spot, as Taurus comes down and Aries rising their flag, or raising their flag. With the Empress reversed and the Hanging Man reversed, perhaps awakens or is shocked even to meet the Two of Cups to discuss the overwork or overtime, or what's malaligned, or Taurus reversed with Pisces or Capricorn reversed, agreeing to disagree with the Nine of Pentacles sovereign, or on their own independence or independent child. Independence Day to start over and or retire. Not coming together with third party or bad influences, just to work like a dog. Antisocial, slave, Atlas with the weight of the world, or perhaps carrying too much weight. Getting this done once and for all. This one last rod, like Steve Martin in The Jerk, this one last rod, this is all I need. Or resistance training. But isn't that what they always say? Just one more. With the Atlas world funneling and cracking, resealed in the sun, exposed again, or energizing. The Sirius star pointing at Sagittarius, or is it Sagittarius pointing the fingers? The key, remember Sagittarius with the bow and arrow, the key, the North Star, and the hummingbird who whispers in your ear, the arrow and the key, the arc and the lock. One shoots the arrow at the target, the lamb, and other opens the door, splitting the apple at the crown in half. The apple of my eye, aye, Capitan. And remember, Capitan comes up as the skipper, as the cap, the crown, the eye, the third eye, and the tan is the tan man. The Cappy caveman, the Neanderthal. The first key, which is Neanderthal's knee, is any, and, which is short for Andromeda as well, and then Earth, ERTH of Earth, and then all. Andromeda, and then RTH, which is sorrow or Ruth for all. The lamb with Adam's apple. Remember, the Adam experiment is ADM, or 144. The lamb of the 777, like having the 777s, like the apple on your head to aim at. And remember that 21 is the world or the earth, and I'm spelling it now AERTH, and ether is AETHR. All right? So we have the lamb at 211, which is the divine feminine and alignment or justice, truth and balance. The lamb with the Adam's apple target on their head. As the arrow gets through to the core and splits, it fits as the hind quarters fall, and juice runs down their face. Crown is the crowin to win, the apple of their eye, the lamb of Capitan, Cappy, who raised the bar that holds the strings, to castrate or cut off, to capture, captivate, seize, storm, take on, adopt, or enchant, to stink. Capricorn goat that's climbing that mountain to seize the day, the lamb, his sunshine day. The goat is very lean and practical, but the lamb grows and gets puffy and rammy at times and wants to lock horns, and Cappy silences the ram, who now takes a strong hold to get back at the old Capricorn. Capricious adornment is what they're calling Capricorn. So the king and the queen go back to the green, but it's no longer there. The theme is now red, white, and blue. Red wine, white knights, and blue eyes, as Aries reads the riot act through Leo, as Virgo cleans it up, purifying for those now blue, as red and blue is not a good bruised look, between Aries and Capricorn squaring off, with Cancer and Libra in the mix. As Leo to Virgo and Aquarius to Pisces are kind of chuckling behind the scenes, not sure what to make of all of this, but they will create something. As the 7 or gamma ray is the key chariot, that Cancer or Sagittarius warrior who hones in here, with firecrackers and the new moon, 717, along with the node, and the younger man and the bird perched, the bunny and the sphinx, getting schooled by Libra and Sirius Capricorn attitude, learning to channel the chariot question mark. On your marks, Seth, God. So instead of mark, set, go, it's coming up as marks, Seth. Remember, Seth comes up as the Elohim and the children of the Elohim, and God. Or Marks is mothers, arcs, Seth is seeth, God. Go, dog, go. Yes, dog. Lead by go-go dancers and lead by go-go extrovert dancers and vain prancers, dashers who sew and vixens who make magic but are tricky, comets who are easygoing and good with kids, and cupids who are very affectionate, donners who love to be loud and sing, and Blitzens of lightning with lots of electric. Others. I can't read what I wrote there. It was too small. But again, all the reindeers are coming up from holodappy.com. So, of course, Rudolph has a red nose that glows for Aries, going to the North Node, who can't get out of sight but may want to. And then Olive, the one who's not spoken about, the unknown, the hidden feminine, that admits when she's wrong and is good at hide and go seek. The only one, because the female who has antlers in winter and has the strength to haul a big man. So in the winter, reindeer, I guess the masculine reindeers lose their antlers and they become weak in the winter. So for Santa Claus to do this in the winter, it has to be a feminine team, not a masculine team. So the only one, she's the only one because she's the only female, and she has antlers all winter and the strength to haul a big man like Santa Claus at 244, the divine feminine and the Four of Cups, or the Hercules energy. Aligning the daughters and sons in 2023 with the Hanging Man and the Fool, man and his best friend, and a hand with horseshoes, the one that fits, size M83, and the hidden dragon dragging on with the crouching tiger that she has not seen, and he is stalking her, to be free at last, with the sun at their back. As Aries leaps to the North Node with Leo to follow, always best buds, you know. And news of a dust cloud, which is meant to cause fear, at 3:03 as I scanned past my news on my iPad there. So then what came up was from emerald24.org as I went in. Phi, I looked to see what's that abbreviation, PHI-X, and that's the abbreviation for the Philadelphia experiment, completely separate from me bringing up the Philadelphia experiment earlier. So the Philadelphia experiment, and this took me back to a website too that I've been looking for a long time and I couldn't find it again, because it talks about the repeated period of the Philadelphia experiment from the 23 to the 43 to the 63 to the 83, 2003 to this year, which is August 2023, and I've brought that up before. So it references the Montauk experiment with the Philadelphia experiment, which are two different timelines where it was done in 43 and then shows up in 83 in Montauk. And then phase 3 would be 2023, and notice there's 40 years between each, the 40 days and 40 nights energy. So June 3rd, 20, there was an alignment. So they were just, this is emerald24.org. They were showing the alignment of what has to line up in order for this to happen again. And they were showing the alignments of June 3rd, 2020, and then January 9th, 21, and then August 13th, 23, as the Venus pentagonal alignment. So again, that 5-pointed star that Betsy Ross convinced Washington not to use the 6-pointed star, but the 5-pointed star. So here's that pentagonal alignment of Venus here, because Venus is the star this year. The planetary annual electric peak, which is May 27th to early June, and then the magnetic peak of August 12th to the 15th, which is that period of when these things happen. Venus between the Earth and the Sun peaks on August 13th in this period. Also CERN, the particle accelerator, is scheduled to be fully operational at this time, with the Philadelphia experiment, Montauk events that lead to the peak on August 12th, also a perfect storm. So the Voyager 2 book comes up here, which was a good description of how the intruder elements used the opportunity of this time warp, so to speak, to create a rip in space-time. So then Brookhaven National Lab came up, BNL, which is that the lab at the center of Long Island, and regarding Montauk, and again, I brought up Plum Island a lot a couple years ago, all associated with Brookhaven, which has the third most powerful accelerator after CERN and Fermilab, which I don't know which one is the Fermilab one. But you all know the CERN one is in Switzerland, at the Alps, between Swiss and Italian Alps. But they all come together with the French Alps as well. That's where the ski Olympics were, at Courmayeur. So close to Montauk and Nikola Tesla's tower at Wardenclyffe to broadcast scalar waves. Also geographic center for the ARC-4 hub grids, or AG4. They're close by as well, and appears to be significant grids in this area. And so I remember that Brooke something had come up the other day from the New York building, that AT&T building, 33 Thomas, and it's not Brookhaven, but Brookfield, but I don't know if there's a relationship there. That's Brookfield Properties between the towers as well. So these were coming up in 20-year cycles. So not just the 40-year cycles, but the 20-year cycles. They talk about hetero and hethalon grids and the activities in 2003. In May, with grid work at Paxos, Greece, in the Q Site 7, or CS7, the hethalon activations occurred in mid-August, with work in Andorra, south of France, and the Arc Planetary Seed Atom, APSA, done every year, but in 2003 was higher dimensional energies of the Merkaba field with more significant impact. So again, this August is very significant. And again, this is no fear, but actually I'm asking you guys to send lots of love to those sites all through August, especially during that period from the 12th, or actually August 8th through the 20th. Send lots of love, wrap it around the energies where anything negative could occur, whether that's at the CERN area. And that doesn't mean all of the people at CERN are bad people. You know, it's just a very dangerous energy to deal with, let alone the people who could be involved with that. So send lots of love to the CERN in Switzerland, Italy, or France. And then the energy of New York, where the 13 Thomas building is, the old AT&T building, which is still part AT&T, but is believed to be, you know, like undercover energies there. And that I was getting associated with Plum Island and the other islands there, Long Island, Plum Island, and the experiments of mixing animals and humans and things like that. So send lots of love to those areas. I know that Sam Illusionist was saying to send love also to Elon Musk the end of this month, July, so that the dark energies don't overwhelm and take him, or do a swap with his soul energy. So, and again, there's no fear around this at all. Just keep your vibration high and just send love. The Q8 years here, so every 8 years, Venus passes between the Sun and the Earth 5 times. So 5 times to 13 Venus orbits. And again, Earth and Venus are referenced as sisters. Only 2 to 3 a day. There's only 2 to 3 day error here, so it's pretty exact when it comes to planetary alignments in 8 years, which is 20 days. Very precise coordinate orbits here. Nothing else comes close according to this site. And they talked about the Fibonacci sequence of 5, 8, and 13, which was very interesting because it came up in combination with me and my twins' numbers. So, yeah, very interesting there. So again, the years 1943, 83, and 23, now peaking again August 13th, or that range, 12th to the 15th, around there. The Philadelphia experiment Montauk events comprises 5-hole VPA cycles of 20 years that comprise 2.5 VPA cycles. 20 years of Venus opposite the Earth and the Sun, which then becomes a weaker alignment, but it still has significance there. And then that references the 20-year periods as opposed to the 40. Venus's movements mark an 8-year clock cycle with 5 conjunctions spaced to form a pentagon in the sky. So there's that star we're talking about, the Venus star in the sky. Also by the 8-pointed Nibiruan star, So 2012 to literally the years 2012 to 15 as well, they were talking about CERN. Referencing it to now, 8/15 in August. So from 2012 to 15, June 5th and 6th, and then January 11th, and then 8/15. Came up, and previously 8/8 had come up. The new cycle is late May, June 2020, climaxing mid-August of 2023. Dueling spirals of the two spirals, which is the Fibonacci spiral and the crystal spiral. They're two different spirals that spiral together. They co-rotate around the same center of a Cathara grid. So then they show the tree of life with the 13, right? That's the whole cycle, 13, not trees of life that you see that are less than that. But 13 represents the whole cycle. Here's just a little sketch that I had done from that. Okay, so showing the two spirals coming together in the tree of life, going up to 13, where actually the 12 and 13 overlap each other. So they come in together, kind of like the pod energy of the 698 pod. And then here's 1 and 2 at the bottom. So I talk about the magnetic peak and the Venus pentagonal alignment on the side of the crystal spiral. And on the Fibonacci side, they were talking about that alignment of 5 plus 8 equals 13, but used in a negative way. 5 minus 8 minus 13 is considered the grid fall sequence. So that strong counter-rotating magnetic fields that CERN is, like it's simulating what we can do as that twin flame energy, the strong counter-rotating magnetic fields can stimulate the Merkaba. Aligning the Merkaba fields between dimensions can open the doors. So this is one of the issues about CERN, of time and space needing to align to this, right? It has to be done very precisely, and they don't necessarily know what they're dealing with. And of course, energies outside of this portal can then intervene, because now they're coming in, they're affecting their worlds as well. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the door on the clock right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door. But that's also the energy of, that's the hanging man, and then the energetic exchange, the arrows of love. So the wisdom and the exchange of energy through the portal is what they're bringing up, right? To be used wisely, not unwisely. And of course, if there's any nefarious energies involved with CERN, then, that portal opening can be then letting in dark energies, who we've gotten out already, or can also be used in a way that they don't understand, where they could damage us or any other bodies outside of that portal. So the energy of the natural process to move through dimensions, the Merkaba, the natural seal or scalar waves, which is your consciousness. And again, just mastering. The 12D frequency of Source Direct Connect were restored back in 2000, also came up on this website. Space-time are closely coupled with fundamental electromagnetism to influence each other in creating an artificial warp or loop, where CERN will be active at the end of it will be active, fully active until the end of 2023, when I guess they have to take it down again. Concern with the SG12 planetary grid, that is too close to CERN in proximity, as well as the south of France, with artificial openings, can do several things. It can sever high dimensional contacts to planets via the 12th dimension, which we just got back online in 2000, which we don't want to do, and also associates any associations with the 12D grid. It can also stop and reverse the high frequency that we've created, and also, of course, opening this portal can bring in multidimensional influences onto or off of the planet. So I was playing with my own numbers and the combination of our numbers as twins, and it was very interesting because Athena was coming up again with Hercules energy, as I brought up before, that she's actually, that's her alter ego is Hercules. And the energies of the Page of Pentacles, and the Lion's Gate energy of the 8 and strength, and the 80 and 81 of the end, the end of karma around the planet. But the 40 and 40 regarding the around the world in 80 days also comes up, and then the energy of the number 148, which reduces to 13, which is that transition number into the next cycle. And Olympics comes up under the number 8 because it's power of sports. And the Page of Pentacles is that perpetual student, right, who always is the student of life. And now we have the Olympics coming up through next year, and I just talked about the 7-7 through the 8-8-8 portal. And 68 and 80 come up here, which are very, close to those energies of 7-7-7 to 8-8-8. They're both within range of those numbers. So that 13 number on the Tree of Life represents that primal light of Source, of the light and sound of Source. So as we continue on here, the 69 pod was coming up here as I was going through the combination of numbers for my personal chart, but it was bringing up the combination was bringing up the sovereignty of the 77, the 71 of the co-creation, that 3 of Pentacles card, and the 96, which is not the 6-9-8 pod. It's the reflection of that. The 9 and is first, and then the 6, which then creates that 2 C's together, but the 8 is then on the diagonal of the 2 O's. So it came up as the 69, which is the Ace of Pentacles, the offering of a new life, and the 6-9-8 pod of the 2 P's in a pod, which is the infinity symbol, connected in a sealed embryo, the embryo inside the womb type of energy. And then the 96, which is reflecting that, is just the 2 C's together with the O at the top and the O at the bottom. Looks like a bow tied at the top, like the gift. It's like the ash symbol, the AE. The receiving of a new life with the 6-9-8 pod and the 9-6, which equals the 2 spirals, also of the ELO, the crystal and the Fibonacci spirals. And then the 148 was coming up as the 1 of the leap to the lambda leap of the 8, the infinite, the leap from the 4 to the 8 as well, which 4 is manifesting survival, whereas 8 is manifesting your dreams. The leap to the lambda father leap, to the closed circuit of the 8, which is infinite. And then the 148 came up also from the Bible as praise the Lord from Psalm 148. The Psalm 72:18 came up as well, where it comes up as 1 not less than, but the less than sign comes up like this, not like you'd normally write it, but like the L here, right? So 1 is less than or equal to the 18 coming up here. And again, 18 is that Chi energy of life. The L of lambda, the lambda leap from the 1 to the 18, which is that infinite spiral. And then the leap of the Elohim to the 18. And remember, the Elohim comes up as that electric light orchestra, the hymn, the music, the sound. When I looked up 148 in Gematria, it came up as Dennis, and then Miracle, and then Isabella. And of course, Isabella is a beauty. And Dennis's den is. And we talk about the den, the lion's den, Eden, comes up in many ways in the fox's den. It comes up as blessed be Jehovah Elohim. Psalms 84:11 also came up, for Jehovah Elohim is the sun and the shield. 4, 7, 8, and 40 were coming up here, lots. So again, the 4 numbers in Judaism are 4, 7, 8, and 40. And again, they repeat themselves within the religion. Of course, you know what they are mostly, with the 7 days of the week, etc. The 8, and then the 40 days and 40 nights. The 10 and the 8 being the Hebrew letters of Chi and life. the two spirals coming together, the two C's coming together, that energy that with ELO of the triangle of land, which brings the two roads together, the fabric, which is representative of that delta energy at the toroidal field. The 4 and the 40 of the Emperor and the Page of Cups, who always come up together, the 4 and the 40. The 4 matriarchs and patriarchs, the wives of Jacob and the types of sons in Passover. The 40 takes shape from the number 4 to reach enlightenment, the 40 days where the embryo takes to form in the womb. So again, there's that energy of protection of the womb. The 40 years, the 40 days, and again, that energy of to reach enlightenment from the 4. So actually the 4 of Cups, the Page of Cups is actually symbolizing the enlightenment as opposed to the Emperor, right? That childlike state. The Pleiades then came up, M45, which is about 444 light years, and it's the closest Messier to Earth. And there was a reference to Taurus in conjunction with the Pleiades, July 13th, August 9th, and then September 5th, regarding it's a connection with the moon. So I looked up 626 in Gematria, and again that symbolism too of the Merlin. So it's the letter E at the top of the tower that protects the tower. And I showed you this the other day, the Merlin, where the tower here, if you flip the E on the back, and it becomes the Twin Towers behind this building with no windows, which references that 33 Thomas Street building in New York. And the grounding plans for the towers. So some kind of connection of 33 Thomas to the new buildings, or perhaps even the old buildings where the 9/11 memorial is. So 626 in Gematria literally translates to simple English Gematria, was the first entry, and then Tristan Tate, then Maitreya, then prayer, and then marry me. 1, 2, 3, that was the 4th, so that was significant, marry me. The last precedent, and then strike back for freedom. 777 came up as a break free, written 4 times, not a break free, but break free was written 4 times. And then band times 4, DEFCON 3, then code system, order out of chaos, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and the hidden key, the code of God. The user, I am that I am. The Great Pyramid, I am. I am's that I am is us. Then the 14th entry was the Aquarius age. 15 was Earth is a giant spaceship. 16 was Rosslyn Chapel. 20 was the female also came as light in the gate. 27th was the Queen of Cups, things are made to happen. And 28 was I can see the perfect alignment. So that was really cool, the way those entries came in. So then there was this energy with 148 minus the 4, which equals 144, and then the 4 plus 40 equals 44. The energy of 13, so 148 reduces to 13, which minus 4 is the 9, which 144 reduces to 9. But the 4 minus 4, when you reduce the 148 to 4, it's still 4 minus 4, which then becomes 0, which was equating 9 with 0. So it's basically they're the same energy. It's just the 9 is the grounded energy of source. Okay. So the 140 plus 4 is the 144, the angel, and the Page of Cups, which is the atom, ADM, which is 144. And then the Queen of Swords and Knight of Wands have come up together because that's the 52 and 25 reflection. And then 520 plus 25 equals 545, which is Eve, EVE. And then 5200 plus 25 equals 5225, which is Eve with the full numbers in it. So it was really cool here. And I'm referencing the relationship between the 52 and the 44 because I said that's the Queen of Swords 52 is the reference to Lady Liberty, Divine Feminine, Athena, and then her alter ego 44, which is Hercules. So very interesting the way that was coming up. And also the flagship of 144, when you mush them together, is 111 and 2 L's of the lambdas, 2 lambs, which 2 L's is also 100, 50 and 50, which equals 211, which is that urgent energy of social need in the community. And then the IH came up, which references that energy of the I, which falls over into the H. It's the same. It's like the rolling stone, but I and H only have 2 in the rolling stone, which IH reflects high. And remember, H is the 2 4s stacked on top of each other, which then becomes the 8 of the continual closed circuit. Okay, so you see how every path they take me on, they're showing you how it leads back to the same information. So it's like, you know, that 1 in a million number. Like it can't just happen. It happens because it's being guided. They're giving me the information. I can't think of this stuff up on my own. So we start with my next book, because I changed books right there. And there was just a quick message here of to have patience. Perhaps after the marriage, attracting unconditional love here, of that energy of attracting that marriage, that magnetic connection. The 29 of the star and the gift from Sirius, as we align, from the stars, being present, front and center, with the 22 of the mountain and the Fool resonating with boundaries. That the stars are all out there, so patience, slow down, change your attitude, and clear your mind. The gift from God, so again, that energy of, you know, we always used to say, you know, they think they're a gift from God. Well, you are a gift from God. The gift from God, the gift to God, and the Fool with an open heart. A need to be patient as the Queen of Wands. The Omega, the Muhammad in the mountain, and all that jazz. So we have the wish and love with 35 and 17, with the wounded warrior who surrenders for their dreams to come true, of love in all areas of life. The transition in romance, where progress is positive here, right? You're achieving your goals, of 2 paths ahead. Be true to yourself. The Divine Masculine Magician and Page of Wands then came up with abundance of 1 for all and all for one, with good news coming in and taking off to new realms. And then it was funny because Love is Blind came up there, so that was a message coming up here too. And there's multiple Love is Blinds, right? We have the US, we got Brazil, and then this energy of spiritual acceleration was coming up as well as Kuan Yin. And I was just looking at Mother Mary when Kuan Yin came up, so they're connecting themselves to each other. And then before I got into this next read, I'm going to show you, I just pulled a couple cards from my Ascension deck. So, you know, this one with all of the masters in it and the intergalactic councils being shown at the bottom here, which is 29, being present at the moment, again, the gift from the stars. And so what came up when I pulled them yesterday was the underlying energy was Serapis Bey, which references the seraphim. The Serap is Bey, which is the Sarah, of course, is the evening, which we talked about already. And also to see the ray, Pis Bey. So this is energy of peeing keeps coming up as well. But it's like the rays peeing on the bay. But B-E-Y also means the gentleman, the chief, the prince, the nobleman, the governor. I'm getting in Oliver, governor. The B, to be, the husband. But it also is Mr., Master, Lord, and to farm. But then rapus comes up, which is a squirrel, but also it's I snatch, grab, carry off, rape, abduct, and steal. Serap is mirage, or that energy of water, right? The watery portal, and it also means to absorb. So the Egyptian who worked with Metatron to suffuse the Great Pyramid with that cosmic wisdom at construction, the keeper of the white ascension flame in Atlantis, and now works with the seraphim, the Kohan of the 4th ray, as we were just talking about the number 4, and the ray of harmony. And the P was coming up as the ray because we think of harmony with music and emotion. So the water's coming up. Of standing in the white flame. You know, P is water with your DNA in it, right? Stand in the white flame. The mirage is the gentleman, the illusion of the body of water, right? With the illusory emotions, right? So it looks like there's emotions there, but perhaps it's not it's not shown in an imbalanced way of emotions. So it's just you have an illusion about what the emotions would be, but the masculine's coming up as a gentleman. The 12 of air and Lord Cthulhu, 36, the Mahatma energy of the 6, the sylphs, Thom, and the unicorns, to spread air of enlightenment, ascension, enthusiasm, freedom, and the divine vision, to purify the currents and blow those purified currents to polluted areas, to appreciate the flowers and raise their vibration. The 36 of Lord Cthulhu, who's Saint Francis Shah Jahan, which is the Taj Mahal, and then Melchior, one of the wise ones, all about the energy of harmlessness, love, and wisdom. The Mahatma group, number 6, of consciousness from Atlantis, with the Christ Buddha light, leaving gold and white footsteps wherever you go, and the Holy Grail of the Seraphim, of Serapis, of wisdom and light, of Atlas and lovers. And the numbers of the cards came up as 12, 3, 3, 6, and 6, which came up as 12 reduces to 3, which is why I wrote that 3. So it comes up as 33 and 66, which is that Christ vibration, and the 66 of the Rose Heart, the Golden Gate of the Queen of Pentacles, and QP is Queen's Pawn, all right, so the Queen's Gambit, and the Rose Heart. The Intergalactic Council 29 came up then, which is the 29 is the gift of the present moment, the now moment, and the Council of 12. So the Council of 12 came up on this card, and this is the way they presented them to me. So they listed the 12, and the first one is Marco, which came up as Polo, Hilarion as hilarious, in that high household or home of God connection, of advice, teaching, education, lesson, counsel, fireside, hearth, and clay. And then Pinocchio came up with the clay, so that's Hilarion, who's hilarious. And Jesus, of course, Zeus, Ashtar as the bright light of the throne, which is the path of one, and Cthulhu as the K and the U, the one less than you, the 11 and the 21, of the justice and alignment with the world. I am less than you only, which references the world to the nth degree. You and me, right? You complete me, all right? And it's not saying that you're not equal, but you are a part of Source, or the energy of the collective is what is coming up. It's not saying you're less than anyone else. It's saying you are less than you, because you is all else. You are less than Source energy, but you are a fractal of Source energy. So it was just reiterating that energy. So Cthulhu teaches on that if you want to go into that energy. The me energy was just coming up here. And then El Moria comes up as the Elohim, and the Moor, the brown people, the tan people. And then Yah, which my grandma was Yah, so I found that funny too. But Yah is yes and you. There's a lot of definitions with Yah. It's also the now moment, and two. And the R backwards. So El Moria was coming up as I am, as the Elohim, and the more of two and I, which is the 2 and 1 with and in the middle. And then Paul the Venetian, who's Pa, y'all, or UL. He is the venerable ET1, I am, he says. Saint Germain comes up as the path of the energy main, so he is your energy go-to man. And then the Kuan Yin, who is QU1 and the Y, the energy of the feminine within, who cues you into the concept of the Holy Grail, of one in the now moment. And then Lady Nada, of the angel to boom, resound, to reverberate, howl, roar, the world, the person, the island, the father, the egg and the fairy, the daughter and brother, and the tyrant as well. And then continual, which just means it goes on, to be born and to give birth, all comes up under Lady Nada. And then Serapis Bey came up, which we talked about already, but then Lord Maitreya, which is coming up as Mother May I, on the L-human path, to pull, to draw, to drag, to milk, to extract, trail, to fire and remove. So this energy of Mother May I is coming up from Lord Maitreya. And then it's like conceding to Mother Mary and Kuan Yin now. So then But Yalil also came up from the Intergalactic Council, to take you there. But 2 ears. Be you in gratitude, 2 lilies. And again, there's that reference of crowning. And Lilith coming up as well. And also Saturday Night Live was coming up this past weekend. And again, I was guided to take out I'm sorry, because when you say I'm sorry, you're saying I am sorry. Like I'm a sorry person, right? It can have a very negative connotation. When you say I love you, please forgive me and thank you. And so it is. So when you say please forgive me, you're saying I'm sorry. So I love you, please forgive me, thank you, and so it is. So then this second message here, and I know that was a long one, but here we go. This one's important too. We have the Fortune Oracle at the top again, the tea leaves, the Wild Unknown, and then the Rider-Waite at the bottom. So I'm going to pull it in a little bit. See if I can get that focused. There we go. All right, so here's this message for you guys. This was I starred this page. This is very significant. It was so cool the way this played out. So I pulled these cards between 1133 and 1138, which is the 33 of the Christ vibration, the 34 of the Arrows of Love, that 8 of Wands, the 35 of the Wounded Warrior, the 36 of the Atlas energy, and then 38, which is the Queen of Cups. The cards at the end of these decks came up as 11115 or 6, and then 2111316. So the message came up as this. The twin flames 5 and 6, which reference 65 and 56, both 11s. 65 is the King of Pentacles and 56 is the 2 of Swords. And the 2 add up to 121, which is the 2 masculines on the outside with the feminine in the middle. The 15 is the Devil, the 16 is the Tower. They go together like the 12, 34, and 56, 78, and 910. Begin again. And the 11, 12, and 13, 14 as well. The 13 and 14, so we normally pair 14 and 15, which is the angel and the devil. But they're showing us that 13 and 14 go together because that's death in the angelic realms. As in, then 15 and 16 go together as the devil and the tower realms, right? As being in life and chaos. The energy of co-creating with the shadow and sudden events, the veil and life, and the bride of Frankenstein and frankincense. So very interesting because that brings up the rock and the stone and the mug of good cheer. The Franken, which is the Franco, a lot, many, and enough. So a lot of Stein, rock and stone, the mug of cheer and the path of one, and enough senses to co-create 3 towers or sudden events or crowning. Towers is towers, urgent toes. My toes is mitosis, my truth. The bird taking sudden flight, crowning and taking off. In sudden community need here, in a group transition to family. So I put all the numbers together, which was 11115 or 6, 2111316, which 316 is Wichita, Kansas. The twin flames and the Queen of Swords, Lady Liberty, along with the King of Pentacles coming up here, the lovers 2, co-create 3 suddenly out of the blue. And then 152 came up in the numbers there too, which is one of the roadways near me. And I'm like, all right, so with 152, that's going to be a hard one. What does that have to do with anything? And where are my guides taking me to with 152? Which is Chalfont coming up with 202, which that route came up earlier. So 202 and 152 are both routes in the Philadelphia area. And what I mostly bring up with you guys is Route 309, which is a highway. And I always talk about 309 because 369 is, of course, that Tesla sequence. But it represents the 3D, 4D, and 5D of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It represents the 3D, 4D, and 5D. So we always reference 309 as the 369 because we're in that 6 energy of the 4th dimension, right? And it can be referenced as density as well. Now, dimensions are unlimited, but densities are not. So it's more along the line of the density energies as we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 309 would reference being in the 4th density, as the 0 represents the now moment, which is actually the 6, okay, in the 4th density. So all right, so how are they relating 152 to 309 and 202? So what is the message here? So when I looked on the map at 309, because I know 309 pretty well, but I don't know 152 as well, so I looked it up to see where it actually connects. And it actually starts off of 309, but unlike most routes that go other places, it ends up at 309. So there's a very significant message here. So it intersects with Butler Avenue, and then I was just getting the buck moon again, which is 202, which represents the feminine gate holders, right? 2 with the 0 of source embodiment in between, and 101 being that place setting, right, of the human embodiment with the pillars on either side as the masculines. So that came up in Chalfont, and then to 113 Main Street in Silverdale. Or is it Silverdale? I don't even know that town. I think it's Silverdale. But it runs between, the 152 runs parallel to 309 and 611, but then it goes back to 309. So 202 runs from Wilmington, Delaware, and then it goes north, and then it goes to Westchester, and then kind of turns east, and then goes more sharply northeast towards King of Prussia and Norristown energies here, where Westchester is exactly west from the center of Philadelphia. So it goes from there to Doylestown, crossing over 476, which is a major highway, that's 76, and 309, which is also highway, but it's also a lot of light road as well, and then 611, which is also, can be both a major highway and a lighted road. So the twin flames, Freebirds, Lover, the world leaps in transition to the crowning moment, the epiphany, the birth. Remember, crowning represents the crown opening up, but also crowning is when a baby is birthed, right? So coming out both ends. And there's this energy. So I drew the picture of 309, right? So there's that straight shot of the highway and how 152 comes off and then comes back again. And if it were reflected as two 152s, what is the message here regarding this highway? So if we take that high road and we take the easy path, the fast path all the time, we never actually get to see it, right? We only see that highway, the high road, by getting off onto the path less traveled. Then we finally see the highway up there. So here's the message around that. The 15 is the key here, the shadow of life, that which fits and turns and shifts easily, right? Like a key in the door. You don't want to force it, because if you do, the only way you're going to force the lock open is by, damaging the door or blowing it wide open, unless there's a boom moment. So after the 4 of birth, which the birth card 4 came up here, which equals 15, and normally I wouldn't write it that way, but if you think of 15 as a Roman numeral, 5 minus 1 would be 4. So the birth of the 4 is equaling the 1 minus 5 of the 15 of the shadow. The 1 less than 5, like we brought up earlier. The K is the 1 less than the world. Like you are a fractal of source, but you're not all of the fractals of source. So it's not saying you're less than anyone else, it's just saying you're less than the whole. And that 2 coming together makes more than 2, so that's exponential energy coming up here. So this energy, like the Roman numeral, is coming up like the emperor, references a Roman energy. The birth equals 1 less than 5, which is freedom, expansion, the master of the hidden house, behind the lock and key, to find what's hidden, what's hidden or stuck, but the energy of hide and seek. The skin is on us to protect what's underneath, who you really are. And again, the energy of the womb protecting the child that's growing. The skin to protect what's underneath, who you really are. The ring in August, which is the ring of fire, the lion's gate, the marriage of the double eights, which equals 16. Again, that sonic boom of the tower. Both crowning at either end to find their way back to self again, which is referencing 152. Okay, so or 152 veers off of 309 to go on the road less traveled, to come back to 309 again, to come back to self again, to come full circle. The 309 is the straight highway, where 152 is the path less traveled. The 309 equals that 369, where the 6 is the now moment of the fourth density, or the 456 energy of the dimensions we're dealing with right now. From the third density and 1, 2, 3 dimensions, and now existing fully in that multi-reality world and being now aware of it, because we were in the 1, 2, 3 before, but now we're in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're aware of the multi-dimensions. The 152 on either side of 309 plus 152 equals 304. So what does that mean? Because we're talking about 309, and it almost matched 309, and they were just random highway numbers. So what does that mean if 152 and 152 don't equal 309, but they're close? And then I realized it's because 1 plus 1 here equals 3, not 2. So 152 plus 152 plus 152 equals 456. Is that crazy or what? So now we go back to that 456 of the fourth density. I just described to you how 1, 2, 3 is the third, 4, 5, 6 is the fourth, and then 7, 8, 9 is the fifth. So 3 152s equals 4, 5, 6, the fourth density. And again, dealing with the fifth dimension, right? So they're different energies. When you come out as 4, 5, 6, you're way ahead of the 309 game. By traveling the road less traveled, where angels fear to tread, you leap into new dimensions that they cannot see yet. Oh. By not giving up and allowing things to percolate, marinate, which came up earlier, and resound until it resonates and then shifts. And it doesn't have to be the long route. It can be a quick route too of manifestation. You just have to command that it's so. And so then the 698 pod was coming up here. So here's the 698 pod, right? The 6 and the 9 coming together with the gift on top, which is the 96, the reverse of the 69. And again, coming up as the pod. And this reminded me of my dad when he always used to eat an egg and cut the crown off at the top and give it to us. That was the gift. Okay, so that's this reference of the egg. With the twins inside, you know, and you always got two yolks in an egg. At 1238, which is the Hanging Man and the Queen of Cups, is the Hanging Man and the Queen of Cups of wisdom and love. The shadow key, which is the skeleton key. It opens all locks. It's the skeleton key to all locks as doors then fling wide open. The three keys on the ring in August's gold rush. August is literally AU gold and the gust or rush. The 8 plus 8, which equals not 16 but 24, in a dancing fools, leaving a trail to never, never land. Never have I ever, never, leap, and ... So there's the ellipsis there. And then Andromeda comes up as and Rome da land, which references and is of course that continuation ... of the ellipsis, but also is Andromeda. And Rome is that energy of the emperor and to Rome. Da is the father and land. So the fatherland also brings up German energy. But it comes up as the and, which then rearranges the DNA. The Rome, which rearranges to more. And then the da, which rearranges to AD or ADD, to add something. So it can reference after death or add, which again is that and energy. And then the land, which also can reference and again, that leap to and, that ellipsis of ... The 1D, which A and D is 1D, and then Rome, our human me. Then the D of Da is D and A, L, which is from land, is all, D all. So we have 1D, like one for all and all for one is coming up as 1D and D all. The fatherland. And the rockets red flare home, or the red glare. The 1D air, and then our human me comes up as the hue, or the oily, colorful energy, right, that presents that oily look of the portal, which contains water and fire water, and then the ether, which is on the other end. So air is our end, ether is the other end, and then we have the hue of the portal in the middle with that rocket's red glare. So Curious George, remember, is the monkey, and the Capitan is the cap, right, the crown of the head, the eye of the third eye, and then the tan of the body, the tan man, because we're all ranges of brown skin. And the man with the yellow hat, which is the crown. Those who took the straight road with lots of attention at 309 equals 12, but the meek on the sides under the radar come out the other end at 4, 5, 6, which equals 15. So it's referencing kind of like the fourth dimension as opposed to the fourth density. But it comes out exponentially. And it's giving us the energy too of the 3, 6 versus the 6, 9, right? If you have the 3, 6, you can't get to the pod because the pod is the 6, 9, the 15. So the 309 seems to bypass the 6, where the 4, 5, 6 observes each step of the way. If you bypass 6, the 3 can't get to the 6, 9, 8 pod, let alone the 9, 6 pod of the ash, which is the reflected light flipped in either direction. By traveling through the dark shadows, or the 15 of the devil, you leap to freedom in a way that no one else has seen. The skeleton key on the ring in August's gold rush, which is hot, is the raccoon in the dark, the ray of Christ consciousness, and the double O-N, which is then equating the 7 with the N of Christ. So, James Bond being Christ energy, right? The ray of Christ consciousness and 007, or 00 Christ. The 7 is the calm, it's the quiet, it's the shadow before the storm. B4 is bingo, the storm, which is the path of the orm, the snake, the worm, that which is upon me, the dragon-like creature. The moment before you realize that you're going under into that dark night, when you veered off Route 309 onto 152, not knowing where it will lead, but you just had to get out of the light, the sun, get out of being seen and not seen, right? So if you're out in public being fully seen but yet not seen at all, why would you want to be out in that energy? Then collapse it. Getting off the highway to smell the flowers, to see what you've missed in going so fast. The 7 is the boomerang, the gamma key that you didn't see, that takes you off path but brings you back to where you once belonged, at a major intersection but farther along. So you see how this is paralleling the Philadelphia experiment, and I'm just getting that now. All right, so it's showing us how we leaped from 2015 to 23. Wow. For the 12 to 15, there was 2 different spots in 12 and 15 that leaped to 23 this August. Wow, 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 wow. So major connection, I was getting there too. So at the top, I want to star that too, because that's major. Okay. So again, this takes back where you once belong. Again, coordinated the intersections of space and time with manifesting a leap between dimensions. So Pinocchio came up here as well, which Pinot is the sap or the juice, the pine tree. And remember we talked about once the apple was split on their head, the juice came running down their face. So here's Pinocchio, the sap or the juice, and the pine tree. And by the way, pine oil made my ear like totally encrusted. And it's also the zenith, right? That peak point, and the pin, my pin example that I was telling you about, of how the feminine and masculine work together with the sun and the vacuum. And then the woman, the big bird, comes up under the Pinot as well. The Pinocchio. So again, the 7 is the boomerang, the gamma key you didn't see that takes you off path but brings you back to where you once belonged, at a major intersection but farther along. At the 10 of Pentacles, which is heaven on earth, who you were all along. The heaven of H and N on either end that collapse to the middle, the box, the chest, the sarcophagus, the body of the heart, the skull of the brain, where heaven is the eaves, or the Eve in the box, the treasure within, that Jack in the box of JCK, which is JC's energy of K, one less than the whole, and the toroidal field of the two C's back to back, and in action though, which is Taurus with directional pull. The ether, AETHR, to the vapor, which is Eden, to the breath of the two humans that then break down into the 4 elements, the lambda leap. The ether on earth is just a rearrangement of things, okay? Because ether and earth have the same letters, earth being EARTH or AERTH, where ether's AETHR, and then Terra, I always spell TEHRA, and you see how that goes on. So it's just a rearrangement of what you already have, a rearrangement of the energies, which is alchemy. The boomerang that gets you back to where you once belong. The other word that comes up with earth and Terra and ether is wreath, REATH, which means to run. And the wreath with a W is the 2 U's, to run in a circle or spiral, but yet you're leveling up. You're not going in a circle. It's a spiral. It always heads upward, no matter how long it takes. Scrambling the letters to see what else they spell, which is also spell work. The key ring of the August raccoon, masked with tail, and the 10 of Pentacles of the human, the who from Man, per Elena Denon and her contacts, took on an avatar or a feminine elder's throne to create the 7 to 8 and heaven on earth, which 78 is that 10 of Pentacles energy. The underlying energy here of the Phoenix and the 25 and the 1 of abundance, the 4 of the birth and the 15 of the key, the renewal to abundance here of 9 and 12, which is 21. I'm not sure where I was getting the 9 and 12 from, but then it was taking me to numerology. So in numerology, every 27 years is another number. So you have a 27-year number, you have a 9-year number, you have a 1-year number, you have a 4-month number, a month number, a day, it goes on. So the 27-year numbers change at age 27, 54, and 81, the end of karma. And so what it was bringing up is what the intersections between 369, but not just 369, the intersections between 369 and 12, right? So they only intersect at certain points because 9 and 12 don't all go into the same things. So the only places that 369 and 12 all intersect is at 180 degrees and 360 degrees, or half a year or a year. Where opposites, they're opposites and then conjunct. And notice that 15 also goes into 180 and 360. So 369, 12, and 15 all go into 180 and 360. Those are the chosen points. The Knight of Wands, Magician, the Emperor, and the Devil, and the spark of magic in controlling the devil or the shadow, right? Which is the shade, the owie shade. The devil of creation. The devil is DE of V, creation, IL, which means he in French, or illness. The Shah, the ox, the stag, the pigeon, the sailing vessel, something of worth and value. He tempts so she can learn her worth. Without sickness, there is no healing. Seek and ye shall find. Hide and seek is the game, but you have to play to win. You must get the key from the skeleton, the Dark Knight, the Grim Reaper, the Scrooge, which is not easy to do. At 145 is the leap to the 45 of the Purge, and the first card here is the 12 Fool, 14 of Judgment, the 19 of Luck, and the Hanging Man and Fool, where one inverts purposely and one by accident or by messing up to get them to see things another way. A human and his dog. A human and his dog. God, C, DNA. So this is a human and his dog spelled backwards. God, C, DNA, Namu, which is Namuh, which means now and. And then A, which is one. God, CIH, C, DNA, now and as one. Okay, so SIH also means hope, mercy, a chance to be satisfied with self and with life. A human and his dog, and God's C, DNA, now and as one. So the wise judgment here at 225, in patience and the sun, hanging out with patient angel, opening a book to blow off steam. The key to man with dog, the soul, searching together, day and night, the hanging man and the fool, and the patient angel, letting steam out of the binding, the articulation, another page in the story. As with any luck, the sun will come out, as Teddy gets past his fears of thunder and lightning. And I was getting just thunder, that's Metatron and Michael of Thunder Road. And the lightning path. What do I always use for Michael? I can't remember. But I'm just getting Ben Franklin now because of the lightning path and the key and the kite. So Michael's resonating with Ben Franklin right here. But again, Thunder Road, as that thunderclap that I had in the south of France and that just came in today, was Metatron. And then Michael coming in as Ben Franklin here. The 32 and the 17 of the journey of the dreams, the journeyman to break their chains as love surrounds all your dreams. The underlying energy at 241 of 2 in the Holy Grail as the dolphin, the vulture, the fan, the hand, the horseshoe, the firecracker, October, carrot and ring, financial gain in something from the past, depression, anxiety that someone is against you when addressing a fan perhaps. Again, allow it all. You don't need to put any energy toward it, but you can't bypass the negative parts that you've created because you've created it all. It's your subconscious energies reflecting out or projecting out and coming back to you in the form of another person so that you can see what's in you. You've created all the negative and positive that comes toward you, and when you don't react to that and accept it, that's when the two polarities can then collapse. When addressing a fan or romance, celebration or party, needing help, of 2 moths playing in the flowers. Horseshoes with good luck in asking a question and getting a ringer and bingo. Taking a crack at it. Again, ask the universe questions. They can't answer you unless you ask. Taking a crack at it with excitement in October. A fan gives a hand with her shoe, with fireworks that just passed, and 8, which is August, that gets cold, or 8 to 10, or 10-8, with carrots and a ring, and the August gold rush, and wings of change, and an opportunity for marriage, whether romantic or business. And what is your dream? So the archway is open to the older man here. The elephant, in fact, whose trunk in a trumpet, with balls like tusks or swords, and weathered with very large ears to hear you with, my dear. Sunshine comes out with happiness and well-being at 252 as opposed to 152, because 152 starts with the masculine, and now he's giving the feminine a turn with the 52 and the Queen of Swords and Lady Liberty. The gavel, the staff, the apple, the bat, May, weeping willow, and August again. The sparkly hammer or magic wand, with staff here to hook you in difficult times. Or piano hammers and music to play, temptation of apples and bats to tempt and test you with, for or against you. In May, family sorrow and weeping willow through August gold rush, or dealing with legal position or courts and delays through then. The tankard comes up which is that mug or stein of fun and enjoyment and an opening. With the same picture here of 2 points of view. I have to show you that because that was really cool the way they came up, if I can find those cards. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to, there's a lot of the T cards. So there was 2 cards here. One was the bridge, right? So you had the bridge like this. And then one was the mug or the stein, right, which is this. And they looked like the same pictures at 2 different angles, the mug and the bridge, right? So that bridge would be the handle, or what keeps coming up is the jug handle. So these energies here, with fun and enjoyment and opening here, again, the same picture, right, in 2 different perspectives, 2 points of view, the archway and the mug or jug handle, the highway handle, again, taking you back to the 2 highways example, at the interchange, which is what we're talking about in August here. The mug is the path, but what's underneath the path or in the mug? The fiery emotions here in the older man in August's gold rush of heat and celebration. A fire started under the older man. As money is coming to you from elephant like pennies from heaven or tokens of love. Kohans and the breath of the Elohim, his electric light orchestra. The trumpeting that sounds like a strong, I meant to write the trumpeting that sounds like a storm, but I wrote strong by accident, which came up as Hebrews strong. The trumpeting that sounds like a storm, a stampede of elephants together, the electric light orchestra bellowing like pennies from heaven, or efficient to the 1,000 suns, the fireworks and the ashes that follow, the owl of good advice from a wise person, and the human 2 U's of the Elohim. The phoenix rising from the root to the bee that's hovering, and the earthworm nearby, the carpenter and the newbie who's out for blood, with unicorn protecting the raccoon in dark energies, or one who's afraid of the storm. The shark and the unicorn who are mediating for the newbie or the new bee and the raccoon, the bee ears for shark, so it's saying to be the ears for the shark or Shah, or shunning the inner child and or the raccoon, masked with a tail. The dragonfly, the dolphin, and the panther, the raccoon and the dolphin, 2 as 1, with the panther growling and the vulture standing watch, of the sting of stingray and the horse, and the musicians were coming up here too, with the sea serpent, the wolf, the gazelle, and the, I want to say the archetype, but that's not what I wrote. This is the energy of them being activated and plugged in. The horse that broke the seal of the leader of the pack and the graceful gazelle. The horse, wolf, and gazelle with all eyes here, while the dragon and the lion, or the inner self, and are you lion, with wise hyena walking away, singing the blues, holding in their emotions with sudden bursts of inspiration and light. The solar flare, the energy of the sword versus the solar, or the rhythm and blues. Or this is the sacral versus the solar plexus and the rhythm and blues. So this dance between the solar plexus and the sacral plexus and the rhythm and blues, the one and the main, and all that attention. The wise one who knows when it's time to go or walk away. The watery camel, which is the watery who came L, and the firefly came L, and fly fired, activating the inner dragon, what turns you on, And then faith, as George Michael would say, from horse mane to lion's mane, and finding wise confidence. The breaking of the seal in independence. The wolf pack leader steps down, reflecting the best of friends for a new chapter in their life, as Rocky Raccoon went back to his room only to find Gideon's Bible. He flipped to a page, equipped with his rage, and pulled out some sage for his rival. So here is the Two of Wands reversed as we go on without a choice, or tossing their crutches here, from 4 of Cups to 7 of Cups, which is that 4 to 7 heart to crown energy, that sweet spot of grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love and all their dreams of a higher love, awakening to chains in gravity-less chambers with clarity but off balance, and the 7 of Pentacles reversed, implementing a plan on how to invest their time, money, and effort to end an emotional cycle of unhappiness or with an unhappy family, and keep your thoughts or their thoughts to themselves, as silence is golden. Detoxing the fire-breathing dragon, the Knight of Wands, who lights a fire under defenseless honey. Or perhaps that's homey. As the 4 of Swords reversed, without rest or awakened by bliss, after excitement finding peace, but yet frustrated, Queen of Pentacles reversed, or Libra man with kids, or with soulmate, King of Cups reversed, or Cancer female after sudden event or drama, destined, perhaps grieving and out in the cold, as the King of Swords reversed, or Scorpio man looks back at being homeless, perhaps in the past, with the 6 of Pentacles sharing or now settling out, perhaps was a bad call, with the 4 of Wands reversed, unstable home, or a move or visit, or the party is just over here, with the King of Swords or Taurus. And the 9 of Wands reversed is the wounded warrior surrendering to the Empress reversed, or perhaps Libra in separation, no longer juggling together, aligning with taming the beast for truth and balance, independence of the 9 of Pentacles, or Libra and Virgo with the 5 of Wands, with the star, the 5-pointed star coming up here, August 12th to the 15th. The conflict and competition of connecting the 5 points, and we actually have a 5 points roadway not far from here. So there's that energy too. The 8/12 to 8/15/2023, with the King of Wands reversed, or Aries female, the Emperor reversed, or Scorpio female rules after death, or clinging to the 10 of Wands reverse cycle, as Atlas is dumping a load, perhaps 1 to 2 houses or properties, and the Knight of Pentacles is upright, withholding at the workplace, with issues in marriage for money that's not working out. And the Hermit upright, or Virgo for sure, coming clean or cleaning up and getting their ducks in a row, with the Moon reversed, or deception, in the Ace of Swords reversed, split, to share equally hand in hand in sunshine, trapped in 2 squares, and loss of hope, depressed with the war within, and the 3 of Cups coming together, the 6 of Cups, the Queen of Cups reversed, or male Scorpio perhaps, with the Knight of Cups reversed. So the Queen of Cups reversed and the Knight of Cups reversed together at a distance at 10:25, the Wheel of Fortune, Destiny, and the Knight of Wands who lights that fire, along with the 10 of Pentacles, heaven on earth. So the insecure world upside down, or without tools in another world, as the magician and the world left behind, the fool off to find themselves in a whole new cycle, that whole new world. So the King of Pentacles is reversed here, ungrounded, or female Gemini or twin, self-satisfied and victorious, as the Knight of Swords reversed may be bullish, holding their tongue, or lashing out, with the Page of Swords upright, perhaps Capricorn. So the Queen of Wands upright and the Hierophant upright, along with the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups reversed, or that can be perhaps the Queen of Wands is married with children, or Leo Taurus with Aquarius or Earth child or page, and the Pisces page reversed. Perhaps the establishment offered an opportunity, but it was rejected. And then there's an energetic exchange, or a lot of back and forth here, trying to end the nightmare of a breakup, to receive love and let go a little, or traveling, or with Cancer or Sagittarius, away and within, to feel like yourself again. Okay, So now we're going to get into the read on the table, which is a quick one. I have to go back to my other book there. And then I'll let you go. It's already 2:19, but it's an important message. As you could see, how everything comes back to the same message. It was really cool. So I'm starting at, where am I here? Is this it? Yep. Okay. So this one, the read on the table there, which is this read here, for the twin flames, is not my 7-deck read. It's just the 2 decks. We have the SIRIAN Starseed and the Rider-Waite Mini. And this I cut at 5:02, the SIRIAN Starseed deck on 7/7/7. It was 4/7/7/7. It was actually cut on the 6th. And I finished clarifying at 5:14, which the 5 is that energy of freedom and change and expansion, and the Hierophant, the master of the hidden house, and the 14 of the Temperance card. So the major arcana here were Karma, which is the Judgment card, Shadow, which is the Devil, Guidance, which is the Hierophant, and then the solar deity, of course, the Sun. Before the read, or no cards came up before the read, but the major arcana that came up after the read were Indigo and the Higher Self. Indigo's the Magician energy. And we had 2 Swords, 3 Cups, and 2 Pentacles. So 232 comes up here, which is also a local road that goes to New Hope. So there's New Hope here. The Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups all came up here. The Page of Wands came up before the read, and the Queen of Cups came up after the read. We had double 3s, 4s, 6s, and 8s for the 33 of the Christ vibration, the 44 of Hercules, or the 4 of Cups, the 66 of the Queen of Pentacles, or the Golden Gate, or the Spirals of the Heart, and the 8/8, of course, of the Twin Flames dancing side by side. We also had the 1 and the 10, so the 1 and the all coming up here, or that change of cycle, which 13 and 15 both represent, and the 12 of the Hanging Man, 23 of the King of Wands, the 34 of the 8 of Wands, the Arrows of Love, 45 of the Purge, that 5 of Cups, 56 of the 2 of Swords, 68 of the Page of Pentacles, the Student of Life, and the 810, which is a 0 backing up the end of karma around the world, which came up somewhere at 2022. So the code line here is all about the number 10. And it started out with 4 letters, E, S, F, and then T, which also comes up as the key, because that was only that part of the T was being accented. The Merlin, Sophia, Digamma key seek the night of the Christ God, Sophia, destiny of karma to the nth degree in the sun, being exposed, fully exposed. The ES, full time, reflects the twin flame, or Digamma key, of the Page and Knight seeking the after-death test, the Christ God in the high vibe Sophia energy of karma to the nth degree in the sun, the karmic sun as well. But the energy of, and again, the ego is coming up as transmuting it from the masculine ego to the feminine ego, right? So you're still a human being with ego, but it becomes much lesser as your light comes more on board. This was also coming up as time hopping, and tritium hydrogen came up as well. The sphere or the realm without an era or time, so out of space and time. The key to seek the adept G, or Christ God, and the high vibe Sophia. The karmic table header, or time hopping. Thai, as in the Thai people, and thine, and then ever thine, ever mine comes up there. The 10 to the 12 Henrys, or electrical conductance of terahenries. Okay, so it's representing the planet Henrys. And then again, the hens and the chickens keep coming up, and the rays, the hen rays, the sunshine. The Merlin spectrum of sensing, spectrum sensing, seeking the adept at the GPS synchronization, the wake-up call to the nth degree of the angel, thine sunshine, the sparse Fourier transform, which are used in GPS synchronizing, spectrum sensing, and analog digital converting. So the Page of Swords comes up first in the underlying energy, as you see over here with the mini cards on top. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed underneath with the Eight of Swords upright, Page of Wands upright, the Four of Pentacles reversed, which is also in this deck the Divine Masculine's Heart, the Batcave, and then the Three of Pentacles upright. Overworked or malaligned, hiding in the woods, the Page of Wands letting go to fix or lay all cards on the table at the workplace. Look! As the Page of Swords is stepping up to see the light, as the wounded warrior reversed surrenders to them. With Aquarius was upright and reversed here with Cancer reversed. The Star, a dream, of Page of Swords Aquarius holding back a call or needs to swallow their pride, receiving third or a final offer, or perhaps there were 3 options and now they only have 1, or whittling down their options to be clear about their demands, as the Page of Wands is putting it on the line with the Page of Swords at work, or about what they want to create, to get their input, idea, and then some concrete effort behind it. Perhaps implementing a plan, a vision, or an actual business plan. Perhaps up all night until early morn, calling out to get it done. And dropping the ball or sphere because they're so tired. The lobster is usually up in arms and now hung out to dry, where now everyone can see what they've been covering up, perhaps a line of credit, and let it go, or the recent past of the Ten of Cups reversed, and news of the family unhappiness and separation with a painful ending, coming clean or clean up the actor's space in an energetic exchange or arrows of love with new information in need of peace to set them free, with Aries upright here at 557, which is the Hierophant and freedom and change, and the 57 of the Three of Swords of the separation. The foundation here is the Knight of Cups upright, dumping a load, a burden, or responsibilities, while things are slow perhaps, or confessing in a twist of fate to the Nine of Pentacles sovereign post-apocalypse, or done schooling the Knight of Cups, laying down to the Nine of Pentacles sovereign to end the inner war, and the central energy of the Six of Swords reversed in need of peace, as the Page of Wands is freed by temptation to end the stress or nightmare and have the Knight of Wands come in, or the Page of Wands inspired by Capricorn without sleep, with so much energy, or so willing to meet, to free them up. As the challenge being karma reversed, and the King of Swords upright, surrendered by the Queen of Wands reversed and the Knight of Swords reversed, moving or visits, and not sharing or destabilized by inequity of the Magician upright, who's received big love from the world, perhaps the Divine Feminine, Pisces or neighbor, or coming full circle here, and again reference to the 309 energy. And we have Libra and Aquarius reversed with Aquarius, Capricorn, and Saggy upright here. Gemini or Virgo and Pisces also upright here. And now, crowning is the King of Cups reversed with the Queen of Cups reversed, taming the beast or pet with the Empress upright, or Leo upright and Taurus reversed here. And remember, reversed means it can be in their chart as well, but not their sun or rising sign. So it can be a negative aspect of them, or it's not their sun or rising sign. The King of Cups reversed may be over it, starting over with regrets, laying their cards out with the Emperor reversed, withholding or saving or playing hardball, with Dark Knight needing help, with hands tied up in a divorce or a break in a contract, or busy with spiritual pursuits, perhaps without an excuse, or the Taurus is reversed, attack on Libra reversed, may be unfair, unhappy with self in awakening or an aha moment, or egos at play, with the Empress being busy with the Queen of Cups and King of Cups both reversed, and the Emperor reversed, perhaps playing for keeps, as Aries reversed, Taurus, Libra, and Pisces or Capricorn all reversed except for Scorpio, which is upright here. And soon the shadow web, the cause of disconnect and no peace. The patient angel lover with Hermit reversed suddenly coming out as the Knight of Cups upright with an offer of love, with Capricorn upright, Saggy, Gemini upright, Scorpio upright, Capricorn and Virgo's reversed here, as the Cappy and Gemini upright with patience in disconnect or breakup, or Gemini loses their mind and is suddenly kind to the Page of Cups reversed, withheld from them, or under radar rejecting their offer for recovery from failure and or rejection, and wanting pain and suffering compensation too perhaps, or the Page of Cups reversed may just be a sore loser. Perhaps Pisces and Scorpio are protecting Virgo reversed from Capricorn Saggy and or Gemini or lover or twin, their shadow at a distance, as the twin flames are without guidance here. Or that can just be their own spiritual knowing that they have that. The Page of Swords is upright with the Knight of Cups upright, breaking patterns of needing guidance or just learning to be more spiritual, or children of divorce in a bold move of the King of Wands reversed to work with the Queen of Swords reversed, who's been keeping to themselves behind the Ten of Cups reversed unhappy family, or ending to an emotional cycle in the pursuit of happiness. As Taurus is reversed and Cancer upright, Pisces or Virgo upright here as well. Cancer, King of Wands reversed, and Pisces, Virgo, or perhaps Aquarius is upright with Queen of Swords reversed, or sister took down the Ten of Cups reversed family to rebuild, and that could be a cycle that she went through and let go of, to rebuild the Three of Cups and coming together in joy. Perhaps a bold move to divorce with the King of Wands and the Queen of Swords both reversed here in the pursuit of happiness. And around the twins are how they're seen as the Five of Pentacles reversed, the Hermit coming out of the Mary Magdalene cave in exile, dumping multiple loads, emotional attachments to the King of Pentacles, drained by kids or pets or ego, overexposure or feeling burned or overworked, and presenting the truth that's uncomfortable for the Queen of Pentacles to hear at 6:45. So, and that's the Lovers and the Five of Cups, which is that purging energy. So the Queen of Cups, the King of Wands reversed could be watching the King of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles both upright, but drained by the hot sun, perhaps dehydrated but are drinking a lot of water, perhaps kids or pets are not. Or the King and Queen of Pentacles are recovering from vacation or too much sun, as the kids are drained by uncomfortable emotions and recovering without guidance or in a divorce. The block here being the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the worry that they will reject the Knight of Cups or the Hermits. The Hermit, this could be the Hermit reversed coming out as the Knight of Cups then, and with an offer of love. Or the Hermit reversed suddenly transforms or blows their crown, or offers kindness to the Page of Cups reversed trying to recover, but only with bad news. With the solar deity or the sun reversed, and the King of Cups reversed with the sun reversed, perhaps the King of Cups is drained, and there ain't no sunshine when she's gone, reminded of the magician in their power when big love was coming in from the divine feminine around the clock, perhaps no more. And the dark night uninvited with her hands tied in a divorce, or in a break in contract and defenseless to the injustice of not getting their wish until they wake up. With the Knight of Pentacles, humble loyal servant of the higher self at a distance, and the Queen of Cups reversed coming together with the Ten of Pentacles upright, family, business, or community, to find joy in visits with indigo proposing to one returning from the past. The challenge being the holding back here, of not heeding the call, of swallowing the pride and blocked by no offer of a new life, of time, money, and effort at 7:02, the Chariot and the High Priestess, and the Page of Swords upright with the Knight of Cups upright, and no guidance to come out of exile with the Ten of Cups reversed, family with no peace, and the challenge being poor judgment and shadow, addiction, codependency, and withholding from the King of Cups reversed, who's draining his higher self at a distance. The Queen of Cups reversed, finding joy with family visits and crazy kids, temporarily, or manifesting love from the past with siblings, kids, and or neighbors. As the Page of Wands, divine masculine's heart, is opening up at the workplace with the Page of Swords upright, surrendering to conversation with the Ten of Cups reversed, unhappy family, or to end an emotional cycle, as or with the Knight of Cups in need of peace and challenged by indecision, and the King of Cups reversed, or a need for guidance or commitment with shadow codependencies, and the Hermit coming out of the Mary Magdalene cave, not seeing the diamond in the rough, just seeing the codependent behavior and no energy or too much ego, and the King of Cups reversed in need of fire to get back on the horse for the higher self, not seeing eye to eye or needs to see face to face, the King of Cups reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed, to come together in joy and then deal with the proposal, the move, or the visit with family to get kids on board at 7:12, which is the Chariot and the Hanging Man. So, I want to pull one more card. So I'm going to pull from the Fortune's Oracle again because it's such great energy. So again, the Venus of Love in the middle here with Taurus and Libra, and the Gemini or twin flame energy, and then the 12 of the end of the cycles, but the 12 is also the 1 and the 2 of the masculine and the feminine together, which is more than they are apart. The 1 and the 2, which is also 1 and 1 on the ends, become the Venus in the middle of love, where Venus is now the star of the show. So that picture of the moon, of the world, is also representing Venus as being the star of the show with the gate holders around it, which is Mercury and the Earth. All right, so we have the eagle. Look at that. The 9 of the Hermit as the eagle soars over the mountains. To the lover, right? So is this the mountain coming to Muhammad or Muhammad coming to the mountain? We have the lovers is the 18, the moon. Oh, that's my birthday, 9/18. So the eagle's coming to the lovers, and Eagle Rock is also a place around here. And then we have the 8 of the dragonfly, 2 is 1. So it's like the lovers coming together again to give birth and to be born in 2 as 1, which are more than they are apart. The dance, I want to say the dance of the butterflies and the firecrackers, and there's that 7 of the chariot. So the 7 and the 8 is the 78 reversed. All right, so 78, I wonder what 87 is in the numerology deck. Let me see if there's an 87. There might be. I don't know. But when you do numerology, like 78 would be the 8 on this is the soul, and then the 7 on the outside is the outer personality number. So heaven on earth is coming up as the power within, but showing the peace on the outside. This is the reverse. This is showing the power on the outside with the peace on the inside. So this is making a bold, being seen as the power one on the outside, whereas the heaven on earth is being seen as the peace with the power on the inside. It's like channeling that power. But the power has to be seen first before it can be channeled, before it can be contained, is what I want to say. Not controlled, but contained. So use that energy to channel that energy, okay? So there's this energy of the twins coming together, the lovers, the 9, 8, and 7 also coming together with the moon in between. 7, 8, 9. All right, that's the 5D, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 7, 8, 9 is coming up backwards as well in order to see both polarities to collapse it to the middle so that you end up in 5D, like really anchored in. So the 7, 8, 9 is 5D, and 9, 8, 7 is also the countdown, right, to 0, to 9/18. And I'm getting, they say it's your birthday. Na 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 na. Happy birthday to ya. They say it's your birthday. Na 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 na. Well, happy birthday to ya. And then the bottom of the deck is this celebration of 1 for all and all for one, right? The 1 of abundance. And it says lucky times are ahead of you along with good news, success, and prosperity, as these are the 4 cards that came out together. The eagle soaring towards the lovers, and the 18 also being the Chi energy of 8 and 10, and 10, 8 also came up as well as 8, 10, and then the 8 of the strength card, and the dragonfly of the power, and the 7 of the calm before the storm, which we talked about that a little bit too. So again, it's referencing July, August, and September. And the lovers are coming up. And again, the lover's moon came up with the 18th as well. And this energy of the new moon and the North Node are switching is the 17th into the 18th energy, because some sites say the 17th, some say the 18th for the node change, I think. But it's that energy coming up as well. And so July, August, September, and then 8-8 and 8-9. So 8-7, 8-8, and 8-9 also, as well as then going into September, September 18th, and then October 8th, and then November 7th. That's what's coming up for me now. Okay. All right, guys, gotta go. It's already 39. It's going on to 40. There's that 4 for you guys. 02. All right, so remember to drink plenty of water. You need the water. You need the water to channel, as you may see on many channels that you watch. You need your rest. But don't punish yourself if you don't get it. Allow all of it. Remember your joy in your nature. Get your feet out in the grass. Use salt and salt baths, or however you want to use salt. It's very helpful in clearing your energies. And rise and be love, you guys. I will see you guys soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.